Hi, T.O.T. Carlson and video time once again. Today we're going to be starting something new on the channel, and that is toy and collectible reviews. Hopefully this will become a regular segment. I'm actually going to an autograph signing for Jason David Frank next month, who was the actor who played Tommy Oliver in the Power Rangers franchise. So I wanted to get something for him to autograph at his signing, so I just picked this up. This is Power Rangers Lightning Collection Zeo Red Ranger. The Zeo Red Ranger, of course, was a Tommy Oliver character. Zeo was the fourth season of Power Rangers. The first season that was not part of the specific Mighty Morphin series, and this one was adapted from the Super Sentai series O-Ranger, so they used the costumes, the monsters, and the villains and so forth from that series. But of course, by that point in the American production of Power Rangers, they were doing more original American content as well. So again, nice mix of footage there. But we're here to review the figure, not to talk about the history of the franchise. So we'll do an unboxing, and I'll show off the figure and share a few of my opinions. So here's the front of the box. Down there you got the Power Rangers Lightning Collection, name of the figure. Got the Hasbro logo over there because they've taken over production of Power Ranger toys. You can see the figure in there as well as its accessories. Got your obligatory choking hazard disclaimer there. Top of the box is just plain red. The picture on the front continues onto the side. I like how they did that. Kind of the same thing on that side. Bottom just has like all the legalities and disclaimers. On the back, they got a great shot of the figure posed, holding his accessories there. And scroll down, and again, you got all the disclaimers at the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. There's actually two tabs on here. There's one in the side and then one in the back. So first things first, we got to pull out the one in the back. I bought a few of these figures, and it is a little hard to get this tab out here. I actually got it on the first try that time. And then we'll pull this open. I always have a pain, boxing and unboxing figures after I take them out of the package, but we'll take a look. Okay, here we have our figure, and I'll show off each and every one of the accessories individually. Trying to do this in the way that will do the least damage to the plastic, because I want to keep this in the plastic after I have Jason David Frank autograph it for me next month. And this was the first one of these figures I bought. I've since purchased a few, and some of my criticisms may apply across the line and not just to this one particular figure. And I'm also going to give you the forewarning, because taking some of these pieces out, putting them on the figure, and getting it all back together, reattached, and so forth, that might take a while. So right now I'm just taking things off the plastic so I can show off each individual component that you get with this figure. Right here, of course, we have our actual figure. I'll show off the points of articulation and everything like that a little more later in the video. Right here we have the Zeo laser pistol. They also included, and this is something that's kind of common across the Lightning Collection, there's a little blast here that you can attach to the end of the pistol when you display the figure. There's a little notch on the end of the pistol there, if you can see it. There's a little hole in the end. Put that in there. It looks like the pistol's fired. There's also an extra set of hands. The ones that are attached by default are open hands so that the character can hold the accessories. The other hands are fists. There's also a detachable, unmorphed Ranger head, because if you watch the show, the Rangers are in the command center morphed, but with their helmets off. So there's a Tommy Oliver head here that you can replace the Zeo helmet figure with. And then you got two more weapons here as well. You got the extended version of the Zeo pod sword. And last but certainly not least, you have the Zeo Ranger 5 main power weapon, which is his sword. So now we'll take a closer look at this figure, see what it has to offer, and I'll give my comments. So first of all, let's take a closer look at the figure himself. Okay. I'm just making sure everything is properly aligned here. This is just with everything that's attached by default, but of course, he's got the head, he's got the star-shaped helmet because he's Zeo Ranger 5. Head swivels. You can also adjust the head up or down. So a lot of variance in what way you can do that. You got ball joint shoulders here so that you can move the arms around pretty good. There's a close-up. The elbows are articulated as well. And the hands, like I showed you, they're detachable hands, but these are, can be fully rotated. But like if you want to take one of the hands off, for instance, we'll take off his left hand here. It does take a little effort to get these off. Okay, there we got it. And got to make sure I'm putting the correct hand in there. Okay, and again, kind of takes a lot of effort to get these in and out. Okay, now he's got a fist there. And then for points of articulation, going back to that, also the torso swivels, so you have a little bit of variance there. The lower waist, you can bend them forward, bend them backwards. Ball joints in the legs as well, so quite a bit you can do with those. There's also, articulated knee joints here. So that's pretty handy, again, if you want to display the figure in different poses. And then the feet are articulated as well, so you can move those up and down a little bit. Not a whole lot of variance with those. And these boots can also, swivel left and right as well because of the articulation in the upper legs. So we will attach a few of the accessories and see how we can get the figure to look. Bear with me for a moment because some of these things are kind of a pain to get on and off. Since we just attached this energy beam to it, why don't we put the laser pistol in his hand next of all. Now you can see the hand here. These hands are open just a little bit, so you kind of have to pry them apart in order to actually fit something in them. And it is a bit of a pain to do. So I'm trying to do that right now. Okay, there we go. We got the laser pistol in his hand. Looks pretty good. And we can take this energy bolt off of the end, and the laser pistol actually fits conveniently in the holster. There's actually two holsters on his belt. One is for the pistol and one is for the pod sword. So, and that fits right there. Now we'll take a look at the pod sword. And this unfortunately brings me to one of the criticisms I have of the figure. When I put this in his hand the first time, the paint on the handle of the sword actually started to peel. You can see where it's kind of gray right there from where some of the paint peeled. This should never happen with any action figure when you very first buy it. I understand you're going to have like paint peeling and wear and tear as you play with a figure for weeks, months, and years, but for something a little pricier like this that may be geared more towards the collector market, it's unacceptable. Still, we'll try fitting this in his hand. And there we got his pod sword in his hand. You can see it right there. And we'll put this in the other holster. Another complaint I have, you only get the extended pod sword here. It doesn't have just the holstered one, so you can put this in the holster down here, but it looks kind of weird because you have that big long sword blade sticking out. I mean, don't you think he'd cut himself on that? So if they just included the handle, that would have been nice. I also wish they would have included, an unextended one that you could combine with the laser pistol to create the super laser pistols like they used in the show. And our last accessory here, of course, is the Zeo Ranger 5 power sword, complete with the star symbol there. And please forgive me if I'm getting the names of some of these accessories wrong. I haven't watched the show probably since I was like 11 or 12 years old. Something I'm probably going to change here in the next few weeks since I'm getting some of the DVDs. So I'm going to try to get his power sword in his hand here. Like I said, you really have to pry these fingers apart to fit the accessories in there, and that's just a royal pain at times. And as I'm trying to do this, the open hand kind of wants to pop loose. Like I said, those hands are interchangeable because they also have the fist hands you can put on. Okay. Finally got the sword in his hand. It's a little loose and wobbly in there, but I've got him with his master weapon now, so he looks pretty good with that. And again, you could spend hours on end trying to pose this thing just the way you want, but I think he looks pretty cool. Anyway, that brings us to our last accessory, which is his interchangeable Tommy Oliver head. Now, the head here doesn't look half bad. I mean, not the best likeness of Jason David Frank I've ever seen, and the brown of the hair I think is a little too light. If you watch the show, he's got like really dark brown hair that almost looks black at times, so I wish they'd made this a little darker. So we're going to take his helmet head off and put this head on. This part, unfortunately, does tend to be one of the more difficult parts. There we go. And there's this little ball peg on top of the torso where the helmet's hooked on. Here's the helmet detached from the body, just so you can kind of see what that looks like. And now we're going to stick the unmorphed Tommy Oliver head on here. Getting these heads back on has proven to be one of the most difficult parts of this process. Keep in mind, I haven't really reviewed or played with any like toys or action figures in years, so cut me some slack here. Okay. Yeah, I actually got it on there without too much effort. Believe me, I spent much longer trying to do this, and there have been a lot of curse words involved during the process as well. So here's Tommy's head on the body, and it actually looks pretty good. And I'm also going to do one last thing before I end this review. I switched out the one open hand for the fist hand, so I'm going to put the fist hand on the other hand as well, just so you can see how that looks. Like I said, it is a little bit of a pain taking these things on and off. Okay, there we got both of his fist hands on, and still got his laser pistol holstered. And then, like I said, of course, you can holster the pod sword as well, but the problem with that is you only get an extended one, so it just looks weird with him having that extended sword sticking out of his holster there. And that pretty much brings me to the end of this review. My buddy Lynn has a channel on here under the name Blue Ranger Power. He's reviewed a few of these figures. I'll include a link to his channel up above. If it doesn't show up above, look in the summary for the video and I'll post one there. Are you a Power Rangers fan? Have you had a chance to pick up any of these Lightning Collection figures yet? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also remember to subscribe to this channel for more content and give this video a like if you found it helpful or interesting. I'll try to be bringing some more toy and action figure reviews in the near future. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. See you later.